This is a demonstration of the new calendar feature. In order to see the calendar feature, you need to enable the permissions for the calendar feature. So I'm logged in here as a system administrator on this company. So if I go to the Preferences tab and Permissions, I can change the permission for calendar entry. If I just type CAL in here, it'll show me all calendar entry related permissions. There are two permissions relating to the calendar. The calendar permission itself is for system administrators and administrators, and the My Calendar permission is for host families, agents, and so forth, plus system administrators who are looking after students. So if you are part of a student team as a system administrator, you will need to enable the My Calendar feature for your own permissions. So if I enable all these permissions for myself, I will see a calendar page appear on the left-hand menu. So I now have access to the calendar page. The basic functionality of the calendar is that there are 4 views. This is the weekly view, and highlighted in pale blue here is the fact that it's Thursday, and you can vaguely see a line here at about 11 o'clock showing that this is the current time. The month view is exactly as you'd expect. The day view is exactly as you'd expect, and again on all of these views you can go backwards and next to change days. The agenda view, which is the final view, will show you the current week and the transactions going on a weekly basis just in a long list. So it may be that on a particularly cluttered display this is easier to read than any of the other views. At the top, you can also press today, and it will always get you back to the view which contains today's date. So it is currently the 3rd of June. If I move into July and then press back to today, it will bring up June's page here. There are a number of filters. As standard on the display, it shows what we call manual entries and timeline entries. Timeline entries obviously relate to students, and if I am involved in a timeline entry or if I'm looking at that student, then I can see those entries. So to show what it looks like on the filters, if I click on only my students, then I see only the students that I'm involved in. So here, for example, I can see James Patel. If I click on this, you can see that I am accompanying James to a parents' meeting, and so that's why he's visible there. If I show back to all of them, then I can go to the students filter. I can just look for David's itinerary. So here are David's details, and I can show one or more students here by filtering them. I can also show students at a particular school, so I could show Rugby School students, and only David here is at Rugby School. And if I press the extended filter here, which is on the right, then I get more options. I can filter on the types of stage I want to see. So I'm not interested in gaps. I am interested in team member stays. I'm not interested in term time accommodation here. I'm interested in this particular kind of these particular events, and those events, it will remember this filter for next time. Equally, I can filter on student statuses, or I can filter on student tags as well. And this filter indicator here shows red to show me that I have settings in the advanced filter. If we click on the any of these timeline entries, as you've already seen, it will take you to a summary of that timeline entry. You can't actually edit anything here, but if you have permission and you can get to the timeline page, then you can click on Jump to Timeline, and it will take you to this exclusive entry on the timeline filter. So it puts a filter at the top that just shows up that filter, and here, if I had permission, I would be able to edit it, and in fact I do, so I could change this data here. If I go back to the calendar, if I click on the calendar entry, so we're on the 3rd of June, I'm going to click and create a manual entry. So I'm going to click an entry here and drag it from 3 AM to 5:30 PM. If I release the mouse button, this is creating a calendar manual entry. So I can decide who needs to come to that meeting, and I can click on those participants and I can type their names in here. And if I want to copy anyone in, I can blind copy in as well. So this is effectively a message entry. I can put the title, so this is emergency meeting, and I can type in some details, and if, for example, there was an agenda, I could even attach a copy of the agenda here. So this is a manual meeting, and it shows up in a slightly different color, and you can see the icon here is a message, and if I was to click on that again, it would take me to the message system, and if anybody had replied with information about the meeting, then that would come up as standard in the message system. Equally, if I went to the calendar page, and I look now, I can see that this has an entry, show on calendar, and so it's linked to the calendar page. And if I click up here, it will take me to that relevant calendar meeting with the putting me in day mode. So there's a bidirectional connection for manual calendar entries. It will automatically include anybody who is part of the timeline arrangement. So in this particular case, were the driver of the, as in this is Pippa Radford giving David a lift, then this entry would appear on Pippa Radford's My Calendar page as well. And finally, this is not perhaps to do with the calendar, but we also have reminders. Now, if I go to an entry here, you can also set reminders which will remind people about forthcoming meetings. So these are as standard, and they're not only in the timelines, but they're also in the calendar entries as well. So if you have a calendar entry, and this is a manual calendar entry, then you can set reminder times here as well. So 30 minutes before this meeting is due to take place at some ungodly hour, then there will be a reminder to anyone who has the app or anyone who is on Chrome. They will get a reminder on their system popping up to warn them. And you can in fact set multiple reminders. So you can have a half-hour reminder and a 1-hour reminder as well. And that's it. As usual, if you have any questions, please give us a call.